We are early, like that ever happened. This is Our Android Week with Alan Furstenberg in New York, Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia, Duke Carrico in Kingsport, Tennessee, Cadeas Kalut in Newport Beach, California, and in Menifee, California, Pam Adger. This is Our Android Week. Welcome. I have a cold, and I was going to bag the show, to be honest, but then we had some news about Google Plus, and people were asking if we were going to talk about it, so we're going to break our tradition and talk about that a little bit at the top. And Alan joins us. Alan, you've put on some weight. What's up with your test? You don't know what the deal is with your screen ratio.
I have no idea what's up with my camera tonight.
So something is amiss. Okay, so I understand from reading all the blogs that it's the end times for Google Plus, and we've all wasted 4 years. Is that basically no? What's the deal?
Which of course goes to show just how much you know, Dan.
Yeah. So what's the deal? There's a change at the top and some naming conventions.
Really, there isn't much of a deal. I mean, there's a lot of talk about something that's total BS. The only real news here is that Dave Besbris is no longer the head of the team known as Google Plus, and that Bradley Horowitz is now the head of the team which is now known as Photos and Streams. That's it. The team is essentially the same. The person at the head of it isn't a big change.
Because Bradley's been involved from the beginning with Vic. He was one of the he was one of the two VP guys with Vic Gundotra from the very beginning, and Dave is he's still at Google. He's going to be running something different, but they're not saying what yet. He may be running something different now. They just haven't announced it yet. And we saw the first breakout product was Hangouts.
Well, but I mean, there's the thing. People seem to be all in a tizzy about how this may mean that Photos and the Stream could be split into separate products. The horrors of it! They were already separate products.
Yeah, a lot of people have an Android.
For almost 4 years.
A lot of people have an iPhone or an Android phone, and they're using the auto backup with Google Photos, and they never log into Google Plus. Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed
except the name, and I think this was public, right? That I guess Jonathan said this, that basically Sundar likes to have names of departments that accurately describe what they do, and that the product has evolved to where there's sort of the stream, and by stream we're talking when you go to plus.google.com and it looks like the Facebook thing, with Alan posted this and Pam posted this, and that's streams. But one question I don't know, is the name Google Plus going to be around in a year or two?
Who knows? What does it matter?
It's a question. I was asked.
It's a dumb one.
Well, Craig asked me, so. So touche.
What does he care? He's never on. No, I mean, let's look at this. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it because it really is kind of a BS set of questions. But Google Plus itself isn't going away. The Google Plus sign-in button is still there. The domain plus.google.com is still there. There's still lots and lots of references to Google Plus. Fundamentally, Google Plus isn't changing and it isn't going away. Some of the components of it, and not even all of the components, some of the components may get a new look. But they've needed a new look for a while now. Photos has desperately needed help since it first rolled into Google Plus. And it wasn't always part of Google Plus. It was its own product initially, and it kind of remained that way for 4 years.
That's one of the most
brand new product.
That's one of the most praised aspects of the service, or now I should say services. Yeah.
It's also one of the most hated aspects of the service.
Organization is obviously not a strong suit.
Well, unless you organize things by throwing them into a garbage pile.
Flickr's way better in that aspect. As are a number of other services.
The shoebox I have with photos from 1980 is much better in that aspect.
So this is a non-event.
Yeah, this is a non-event. There are interesting aspects to it. You know, for example, I noticed nobody asked what happened to Bez until I asked the question this afternoon. Nobody asked, you know, hey, back in August 2011, when Eric Schmidt declared that Google Plus was an identity service, nobody turned around and asked Sundar, hey, why does Eric Schmidt think it's an identity service and you don't? Nobody asked that. So, you know, there's a lot, you know, all the reporters are missing the important questions here. And they're asking the stupid questions instead. You know, the questions you've been asking.
All right. Any final thoughts on this?
Oh, I've got lots more thoughts, but we'll be talking about them Friday on Google Plus Week, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right. So, next is some hardware stuff. Bit of an event going on. And one thing...
Mobile World Congress in Spain, I believe. So everybody is out talking about, you know, what's new and hot with mobile, which is, you know, nothing.
So the S6 and the S6 Edge, I guess it's glass on the front and the back. It's all metal. Samsung is no longer cheap plastic. Now they're fragile glass and metal. And
well,
I've heard this described as a regression more than a evolution.
Here's the thing. If they're going to command a premium price, they actually have to be made out of premium materials. Because, you know, there's absolutely nothing remarkable about this phone otherwise.
Isn't Apple's decision to move away from a glass back because everyone broke them?
Who knows what Apple, I think, flips a coin when they make some of their decisions these days. Or, you know, depends on what kind of drinking binge Johnny Ive is on that night.
What about the Edge?
That's a bit rude of me. I don't know that Johnny Ive goes on drinking binges. I apologize for that.
You're just upset because he hasn't invited you on one.
How do you know?
True. There's that. So, okay, on the Edge, I've seen it. It's an impressive-looking device, but is it stupid, gimmicky? Like just a bunch of Samsung apps that no one will use? Or is there a point to it? Other than
I haven't found the point to it yet.
Other than the price point?
I haven't found the point to it yet.
This is the problem with Android phones in that they're basically dealing with the same operating system, and so they're trying to differentiate themselves with their wrappers and their enhancements and the Notes stylus.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, you look at the Yoda phone, and it does have ways to distinguish itself, and it's still an Android phone. You look at the Moto 360, or sorry, not the Moto X, and it had ways to distinguish itself, and without some of these gimmicks. You know, introduce practical, real uses that people will use at a good price point, and you'll win the market.
Okay. So another thing is LG's got a new WebOS smartwatch and Android Wear smartwatch. Have you seen anything on that? Any thoughts?
Yeah, the Urbane is interesting. I'm not into. I still have doubts about the practicality of actually putting the LTE radio in the watch in this fashion, especially with this battery. I mean, you know, I've said in the past, I think having a different form factor for the radio is a good approach. I think it's a clever approach. I think it's a reasonable thing to do. But then combining it with the display, with what's got to be a pathetic battery, I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Okay. And then we see, I don't know how to pronounce this company. Huawei?
Hawaii?
Huawei? Hooray for Huawei. They got a 7-inch phone, its first Android Wear watch. And I'm hearing This is the one that they said is like the first attractive Android Wear watch,
Yeah, everyone's been wanting this watch.
but it's
So
really
we'll
big.
see what it's actually like. And the phone is interesting too. You know, it's got a huge battery. It's like a 5,000 milliamp hour battery.
Wow.
It's like, kick ass.
I think my Note was like 3,100 or something, right?
And the S6 is only like 25. The S6 is pathetic.
But a 7-inch screen is it's going to eat up some juice.
It's going to eat up some juice, but the fact that it's 7 inches means that it's got the size to squeeze a bigger battery in.
Unlike Alan.
Well, I'm squeezed, yeah.
That was the Pam in me coming out. Okay, so kudos to Hawaii.
And do we really want to talk size, Dan?
No.
Do you really?
Okay, software wise, you're excited about this Android for Work.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question before you get into what this is. What is the current state of for companies that have a bring your own device policy? How are the various, obviously BlackBerry's that's probably the field they're the strongest in, but or maybe not, I don't know. But what's the current makeup of iOS versus Android versus Windows versus BlackBerry, etc.?
A lot lean toward, if they've got a policy, they tend to lean towards iOS. The big problem with all of them is right now they all essentially reserve the right that when you leave the company, they wipe your device. Because you've got corporate stuff on your device and they can't trust it anymore. And that's been a concern. What this new Android for Work program does is it essentially says, okay, corporate has their little corner of your device that they can play in, and that corner doesn't play with your corner. The two of them don't meet. So you've got your corporate apps over here, and they play by themselves, and your apps, and they play by themselves. And if corporate needs to wipe out its stuff, it does, and it goes away. It just goes away.
Now, for government high security stuff, they would just give you a set. You'd have two phones, right?
Well,
they would issue you a BlackBerry or whatever. I think the President Obama has a BlackBerry still.
Possibly, but what this starts raising the question of, is that going to be necessary in the future? Are you going to be able to build Android on top of SE Linux? Is it already built on SE Linux? I don't remember. Are you going to be able to have secure compartmentalized information? These are questions that government system developers have been working on for decades now. So there's some good questions and some good opportunities there.
Okay, so you're excited about this?
Oh yeah, this is great news. This is actually doing it right.
The test for this will be if you work at Google and then leave and you're using this, will Google trust their own stuff enough to let you leave with the phone unwiped?
It's a good question. I haven't talked to my friends who are working in Android yet, but you know what? I'll drop them a line and find out what they have to say.
Okay. All right, so progress is being made there. And okay, next is console OS developers release an 80 regular computer, like a PC version compatible, 86 compatible Android distribution for PCs. Now this is and isn't new, right? This has sort of existed in the past, but this is a little different. I mean, I think we've seen computers that could run Android. I think I had some kludgy thing I tried once and it sucked, but
yeah, we've seen computers that can run Android. That really wasn't what I think this is trying to do. This is actually trying to run Android itself more natively on a PC, as opposed to trying to run it with what was it called, Blue Windows or BlueStack, something like that.
It was like an emulator, but this is actually running it on the.
So, I'm actually having trouble bringing it up right now to get the details.
I think it's a lower. In the old days, we would say a lower level implementation of it, as opposed to a bloated emulator. It's actually trying to create a version that would actually run on an Intel chip or an AMD chip. And I do think it's back to partitioning. I think you could still run Windows in addition to this. And I'm not sure how practical this is for guys like you, developers or whatever, maybe. But
Well, I mean, this is more like dual booting Chrome OS, for example. Seems to be more in line with what this is actually trying to accomplish. I don't know. Interesting approach. We'll see where it goes, but I don't know. I'm not optimistic.
Okay. I think this is more for tinkerers,
I
hobbyists.
don't even think tinkerers would care because they're running, they're tinkering already.
And also, I mean, it's still any mobile operating system is a compromise compared to the full-blown desktop version, I think.
Well, desktop versions are compromises too, just in different ways.
Okay, so I see sponsored search results coming to Google Play, Android's App Store. This is a long time coming, and just this is like someone said. I think like Magic Johnson or somebody made the Forbes billionaire list, and everyone. The only news there is everyone was surprised he wasn't already on it. I'm surprised that this wasn't already happening. So what's the deal here?
Basically, it means that you're going to be able to buy advertising on Google Play.
I don't see why they haven't done that yet.
Well, for the same reason why once upon a time you couldn't buy advertising on Google search results because they didn't want to give the impression of favoring search results. They wanted to give unbiased search results. And now I think they're saying that the store has matured to the point where they can get away with this.
And I don't think anyone cares. I mean, I don't think anyone's like protesting.
Well,
Haven't we
I
sort
think
of
people
come to
will
grips?
start protesting when you actually start getting, unable to find stuff that you're looking for.
And of course, it's different. And this will be in mobile and on desktop, right? Or do we know? I assume.
I don't think we know yet.
So it's only with a few partners who are already advertising in like Google native search results and the Google network, and they're testing it. So I don't think that's a big deal. Okay, so YouTube for Android now lets you trim your videos before uploading. This is just a little thing. This is great if you tape a 4-minute thing, and then you get like 15 seconds, and you just want to upload that. It saves data and time. It's always been a hassle to have to go back and use that kludgy trimmer on YouTube and then wait for it to process again and blah, blah, blah. And I think you couldn't replace the video after it got X number of views or comments or a period of time lapsed. So this just, I'm surprised. Again, I'm surprised that it didn't have this already because it's not rocket science to do this. It's just a simple trimmer. And this is the YouTube for Android app. So I assume they'll get this in iOS. And at the bottom of the story, they said, make sure you shoot in portrait mode. I assume that was a typo. My God.
Or they're trying to be ironic or stupid or something.
Perhaps. Maybe I've inspired them in their writing. Okay.
Yeah, Dan, you inspire people.
To be ironic and stupid. Anything
You
else?
said it, not me.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, coming up Friday, we'll have more exciting stuff on the non-story that's in the news. We'll have the latest on this breaking story.
The latest
fluid.
on this breaking non-story.
Did you see the car chase, the box truck in California? It was a empty like U-Haul or something with the washing machine in the back, and it was like this low-speed pursuit. Crazy. I guess they got him because the stream was over. Okay.
Feel better, Dan.
Yeah, I'm sick. I am as sick as I look, but at least my screen aspect ratio is fine. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Alan, as always, for reining in this crazy story. The end is not nigh for Google Plus, unless it is. So thank you all very much for watching. We appreciate it. Let me do a quick check for any comments we got. We did the show early, which has likely never ever happened. And Brad says the video's buffering for him, and that was a while back, so we'll see. I don't know. Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you Friday at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific for Google Plus Week, where we will discuss Google Plus news and other tech news. And we'll be back here every Monday at 9 Eastern, normally 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And until then, have a wonderful Android week. Hopefully I'll feel better by Friday. Take care. Thanks.